G'day, Mark Holloway, markhollowaytv.com. How much should you pay for business cards? Well, look, actually that's a trick question, because the one I'm going to answer today is, how do you make your business cards pay? Let's just go back for a minute to the trick question. How much should you pay for business cards? Well, look, I don't know. There are so many different printers at the moment under pressure, offering fantastic prices. And of course it depends whether you get your cards one-sided, two-sided, colour, whether you're printing cards for everybody in the business or just you, whether you have matte laminate, whether you have foil emboss. I mean, it goes on and on and on. How much should you pay for a lawnmower? Well, it depends whether you want to sit on the thing or push it, or whether you want it to pull you. So, let's get back to the real question. How do you make your business card pay? In other words, how do you do a business card? How do you make a business card that actually generates some business for you? Well, look, it's quite simple. The reason that people buy more from you generally is because you help them. So if you're a dentist, when they're in your chair, they're trembling away, terrified you're going to inflict pain on them. Aside from the fact that you're more gentle than they expect, one of the things you do to help them that makes them want to come back to you is you give them tips on how to look after their teeth, which mean they don't have to come back to you so often. And that's quite surprising. Anybody that's in business that then helps their customers to extend the gaps between when they need to come back to them is obviously helping them. So why not, Mr. Dentist, if you've got a business card, put on the back of the business card 5 ways to look after your teeth so that you don't have to come back and see me so often. Now imagine that on the back of your card. Now everybody else listening who isn't a dentist, if your dentist gave you a card like that, do you think that you might, number one, find that appealing and want to go back to him, and secondly, you might even ask for a couple of copies of his card so you could give it to some of your friends? So, let's say you're in the electronics business. You know, electronic appliances, TVs and fridges and stoves and all that sort of thing. Well, look, here's just another example. Just think to yourself, what is it that I do in my everyday life, in my business, that seems to help my customers? And on the basis of that, what small message could I put on the back of the business card? Well, look, one of the things, if you're looking at people like me, you know, white, middle-aged, middle-class males, we think we rule the bloody world. Actually, we don't. But we come into your shop. Well, we're not there, generally, to buy something small. You know, we certainly, if we're in the TV market, for instance, we'd like one of those biggest Texas TVs. Now, you know what one of the big problems with a lot of people that look like me are when it comes to buying a big TV? Quite often we've never had one before. We've thought about it, we've ummed and ahed. TV might not have been a big thing in our lives or in our family, but finally we think we're going to get one of those TVs. Well, look, here's the issue. Back when those biggest Texas TVs came out, you had to sit in one particular place in the room, otherwise you couldn't see the darn thing. The image was all bugged. So, there's plenty of people like me who've never had one before, and we're still a bit concerned about that. So what if you put on the back of your TV department guys' cards something like how to choose a big screen TV that you can see from anywhere in the room? Now, then you come back to the answer, how much should I pay for my business cards? Well, if you're going to have different messages on your business cards, then the issue isn't so much how glamorous they look, but how many you can print for how much. So go shopping for a good price and have 4 or 5 different messages on the back of your cards, okay? And your printer will do a thing called work and turn, and they can do that, and it's not a problem, or they gang print them. Just ask them to do that, so you've got 5 or 6 of your own business cards. They've got 5 or 6 different messages on the back, but you print them all at once. Okay, so there you go. Just a little bit of innovative thinking. It's just common sense, really, isn't it? Like all successful marketing. It's Mark Holloway signing out.